So I had a major surgery 3 years ago today. I just felt like I was really called to speak about it only because I almost died. Twice. And not a lot of people know that info. I don't know, I'm already about to cry. But 3 years ago today, I had a major surgery. And a couple weeks after that, like 2 weeks after going into Christmas, I woke up feeling like super sick. And I almost had a heart attack. Yeah. And I think I'm getting emotional because I've never really talked about it or have really shared this information. And I had to be rushed over in an ambulance. I had to be given ketamine. Is that what it's called? What is that drug right now? What is that drug that's killing people? It's not funny. What? Ketamine? No, what's the drug that's killing the girls? Drug. This is so unserious. Cries to this. Drug killing people. Fentanyl! Ketamine. Girl, that is horse tranquilizer. I had to be pushed fentanyl for my body to stop having such a major response to whatever's going on. I was internally bleeding, come to find out. And that whole situation was just really traumatic because my hospital stay wasn't it. My mom had her own situation and dealing with me and being sick. And so, with that, I obviously wasn't doing so well. And my mom, because of her own situation she was having at the time, also came to the hospital with me, but as a patient. And they basically turned my mother away at the door when she went to go get some stuff from my grandparents, and I almost had a heart attack again. And my nurse literally declined my in-call button to the nurse's station and told me that she didn't care about that. And I'm just saying all this to say, no matter what you have been through, God is so faithful. And as someone who's a model and an actress who is in such a very hard career, who's consistently being told no all the time, you just have to constantly go through so many ups and downs, and it makes you question your journey. It makes you question your worth. It makes you question, are you deserving of these things? Are you doing things right? It just makes life be put in such a large microscope if everything has to be perfect because I am depending on this one yes. But none of that matters because God's yes is the final say. No matter how many doors are slammed in my face, no matter how many times I feel like I'm not good enough, no matter how many times you've been pushed to the side, God is going to remain faithful through all of that. And I know it feels way easier to want to give up, or that that's what you feel it's not worth it anymore, because I've been through all of those feelings. But even though I've been making small baby steps in my career, me 3 years ago today would have been so shocked that I'm able now to be in the union for SAG-AFTRA, and that I am actually making amazing moves towards my career. And auditions are slow. Timing is always going to be slow. I changed up my look, so obviously the people I used to work with aren't going to contact me for certain types of jobs anymore because I don't look that way anymore. And just being faithful to what God has spoken into you and what God has said about you. Your identity does not change. Your circumstances will change, but your identity does not change. what God has said about you, how he has created you, what he has given you dreams for are all very intentional. And even though your circumstances may feel like it, like God is never, ever, ever going to switch up on his word that he's put over your life. And I never would have thought that I would be this far in such a short amount of time, especially because I was doing things, obviously, that were of the world. I was doing things that were demonic. I was doing things that were, like, witchcraft and things of that nature. And, like, you just don't realize, like, how heavy that weighs on your life. And I just think I feel such an immense, overwhelming feeling of gratitude. And I just wanted to put out a word of encouragement just because, like, life is fucking hard. And if you're a Christian and you don't cuss and you're gonna come over here, whatever, that's the only word I have right now. Life is fucking hard. Life is difficult. Like, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bean. Like, the girlies are struggling out here. The girlies are struggling with sexual immorality. The girlies are struggling with perfectionism. The girlies are struggling with idolization. The girlies are struggling with comparison. Like, be real in your struggle. Be real in your journey. And stop comparing yourself to the next girl, because that was when God opened the door for her. And when God opens the door for you, there's going to be people that are jealous of you. There are going to be people who don't understand it. Because you have God's favor. The devil gives people things too. It may be glitz and it may be glamour, but it's not worth to compromise yourself over. And I think that's just the piece I'm wanting to give you, is like not compromising, because your journey and the fruit that you receive from that is going to be way better than what the world or what the devil could ever give you. And I say that because I was working more than ever when I was just saying yes to whatever, and I was doing witchcraft, and I was, in that funk. But I was compromising myself, and I was compromising my morality and doing things that I probably shouldn't have been doing. And thank God a lot of those projects never came out. And I think that was intentional. And I think it was the Lord protecting me from that. But you have to learn how to prioritize your morality. You have to be able to prioritize yourself and your mental and what you're compromising, and if that's worth it to you. And at the end of the day, it's not going to be worth it. It's not. But yeah, I just wanted to remind you of your true identity in the Lord, and who you are as a woman going through things, as a woman who potentially have major surgeries, as someone who maybe has a mental illness, as someone who maybe has a disability, and you're not able-bodied, and all of those things. Like, God's promise for you is there regardless of the trials that you go through, because this is life and we are human and it is difficult, but his promise remains the same. And I love ya. And, yeah. And I know Juilliard auditions are going to start happening, so I'm going to be making a video about that as well, and, like, what to expect, and how I went about it, and how I did. But, yeah, I just wanted to leave that word for someone who might need it, for someone who's been needing to hear it, who's maybe gone through something and feeling like they're feeling such a pushback in their career because they have to deal with this one thing first. Delays aren't a no. A delay isn't God telling you no. So, yeah. Maybe it's a lesson. A lesson still isn't a no. God's promise is always true. God's yes is always a yes. You are favored. And I love you. That's that, yeah. I don't really have nothing else for you. Bye, pooks. Bye, pookies.